to make some interior panels for the inside of the tractor cab here. And so to pull that off, basically we're going to take some measurements, jot them down on the sheet that we're going to cut from, and I just thought maybe you guys like to see how that goes. Good or bad, I got you here with me. Let's see what we got. So at the back, we're going to start at the roof. The back of this panel, we've got, we'll call that 13 and I'd almost like to call it, we'll just call it 13 3/4 right there, folks. But basically, like I said, I'm going to use this as a straight edge and make my cuts. Probably find something a little smaller to use for the smaller angles too, like for the smaller cuts. I said angles because I was thinking about this giant triangle. So I bought this giant triangle because I like carpenter squares, and I was like, I didn't even know they made a big giant one. This thing's a 1 foot, well, I don't know, it's marked at 11 inches there. So it's nearly 1 foot triangle. One of the selling points on this was that it came with a cool book about like building rafters. And I was like, well, that's pretty neat. I don't know anything about building rafters, and that sounds like an interesting read. And I can't find that little booklet anymore. Yeah, it's working. It's working. Usable piece of material for the future. Alright, so I believe this one is our piece. Let's see if that fits here. Well, it seems a little tight on that side. It does go in there like we want. So you might have to trim it a little bit. No, it fits in there. Don't be so negative. Yeah, so that's the first piece. So that's my idea on that, okay? But we're going to get it back down out of there in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and make the other side, and then we'll do the whole roof all at once. And now that's a pretty tight fit. I'm going to make the next piece, and then after that we're going to take these down to the big table in the basement and cover them with the same canvas that I used on the side pieces. But this stuff, the material that I'm working with here isn't too costly. I like to work with it for a few reasons. One, it has a little sound deadening capability. 2, it is inexpensive, and 3, it's easy to work with. It'll run you about $20 for the 1-inch thickness. That's pricing as of today, currently, right now. I got some of that canvas laid out on the big table. This used to be the dining table, but it is now a craft table, and so I don't mind carving it up with razor blades and stuff like that. And that's what this guy is. If you're not familiar with this tool I'm using here, it's a fabric cutter, which is basically like a razor blade shaped like a pizza cutter. And this one doesn't do the greatest job because, like all my cutting tools, I've abused the snot out of it. You can see the pizza wheel is actually rusty. But anyways, this part of the process is easy enough. We don't need to measure anything. Basically, we just need to, famous last words. Basically, we just need to eyeball a little extra material around this whole thing, enough that we can be sure to have plenty to fold it over. It should be pretty well golden. I'm giving myself some extra on this side. We also have this dark brown, which we might end up switching to that. And I've got a ton of this because I haven't used it for anything. Yeah, so basically the plan is going to be to like spray some glue down this edge, fold that over, hold it in place. Due to the chemical nature of this stuff, got some gloves, the blue kind. I'm going to focus it on this fabric first. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe by some miracle chemical reaction, this stuff will just be like magically thermally and hydro bonded. So that looks pretty good. Why is my Why do I got such a saggy bottom? Wanted to be type these. But the good news is it does seem like that's sticking, so I think we might be okay there. So that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this other long edge. I've had that can of that stuff for a while. It was ugly. That was probably like 4 years ago. Yeah, it seems like that's gonna hold, actually. Now, if I was smart, I probably would have put some adhesive on the middle bottom, you know, so that it doesn't sag down. Let's try to remember to do that on the next one. I'm just gonna try to shoot some of this inside here. Very least the edges have something there. And now by pressing down on the board to the table, I can actually see that glue foaming out of the end. We're going to trim on this a little bit. I don't think we're going to need quite that much over there. Yeah, this canvas is really, it's not too bad to work with, but you can tell it's a heavy duty material. It's kind of, almost cuts like a leather. But, and then I think to keep from bunching too much, we'll try to cut that out at least as much as we can. And then we'll come and cut it out this way. Yeah, you can see these scissors, not that these are the world's nicest scissors or anything, but they're struggling to cut this stuff. Alright, fix on that real quick. Yeah, if I remember correctly, which I haven't read the instructions in some years, but if I remember correctly, the instructions say to like spray it on there and let it get tacky for a minute or two, and then try to mush it into place. And this corner just does not want to stick down, so I'm just going to keep my thumb on it. I'm just going to keep my thumb on it. It'll stick. You'll see. That thing lifted the moment I lifted my thumb. You son of a monkey. Yeah, but it's crazy. It almost looks where that glue hits the foam, it almost looks like it melts it a little bit. It's probably releasing some interesting chemicals, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow as an alien. So that's cool. Yeah, what I was thinking when I started talking about the age of this can is that I don't know, even if you just heard that when I set it down, but it's like it feels and sounds empty, but it just keeps cranking out the glue, and I'm like, hey, you know what? This glue is expensive, and so when I need to use you, I will take advantage of the fact that you don't give up. But so we'll see how the Gorilla one compares to that too, because not all products are equal, of course. Alright, let's see if we can fold that up. Give it a hard pinch back. Yarr. And smush it into place. Yeah, so far I don't think that we're going to need staples or anything. I brought the staple gun down. Alright guys, so I'm going to pause here. I don't think I need to show you myself wrapping the next one because it's basically an exact copy of what I just did here. So Basically, this one went so well that I'm afraid I'm gonna screw it up, to be honest. But anyways, it's time for a change of gloves. These are not fun to be in right now. So basically what I'm going to do here is mostly focus where I'm putting the glue on where the fabric wraps around, because that's going to be the biggest contact point. Probably could have taken more time and corrected or whatever, but what was that? Oh, I know what that was. I'm sorry, guys. Where did you even go? Gone. Are you dead? I don't even see it. How far could it have possibly went? All the way up. I don't know what's happening right now. Oh, the camera's over there. I thought the camera fell. Well, what fell? And it's like, oh no, it fell. Yeah, basically we just want to push that up and into place, and should be pretty good. Wait a minute here. What is happening? Okay. That's what's happening. That is what's happening. See, we just got to get the other side in and we'll be in good shape. I saw your comments on there about my annoying sounds, and I understand, I get it. Hey, if you're willing to watch the videos, I'll tone the annoying sounds down. I'm not here to offend anybody, and at least not intentionally. Yeah, we'll just hose that down real good. I don't know if you can see that, but it's almost changing the foam from a pink to a purple. And so that must mean it's doing good things. It's almost like a purple fleshy color. See? You see? Alright, now let's try not to bump this glue covered thing and everything. Gluey porch treatment. What is happening up here that is preventing my freedoms? Yeah, you gotta work quickly because this glue is no joke. It starts setting up and you're screwed. Which is pretty much where we're at right now. Try to keep my glue covered gloves off of the rear window. Are we there yet? No, we're close. So you can see even without the glue, it's a very tight fit. It's not going anywhere. But hopefully the glue will give it a little more structurability. I just wasted a ton of glue, but how was I to know, you know? I don't think those are going anywhere. Especially once I mount that dome light, that's going to sit across the two panels. That's going to hold it up in the middles. Ceiling panels are up. Power wire for dome light in. Put a couple screws in this hinge so it's because that weld had broke. Alright, so here we're cutting up some more of that foam for the interior panels. And this is a 1-inch extruded polystyrene foam. It's got the Pink Panther on it, giving you the thumbs up, so you know it's good stuff. In the process here, it's kind of tedious, basically just trimming up pieces to fit inside the little cavities that were left from the tubular steel framing. But working on this for a little while, the goal is to get all the panels insulated so that cuts down on noise a little bit from the tractor, because basically when you're running this thing, it's like sitting inside of a soda can strapped to a 2-cylinder engine. So it's loud, a lot of racket happening in there. Alright guys, so I shifted gears on you a little bit. I got kind of telling on my ADD situation, but I kind of got tired of messing with these interior panels, so I cut that one for the top of the window, one for the bottom of the window, one down there behind the butt of the seat, and one for over there. We'll get those wrapped up maybe tomorrow after work or something. But I wanted to mess with this windshield wiper for a minute before I called it a day. And note my fancy cup holder for the Warrior there, it's just hanging out. But basically what I'm doing is I robbed a wire off of the new windshield wiper motor, which is over here on the bench, and you can see the orange wire is cut on that guy now, so now it matches the other one. But what I didn't realize was when I put the current one that's in there up in there, you see that we have a black wire going to the motor from this plug, and so I lengthened that wire and ran it down on the other one. I assume that's a ground, but if you look down in there, there's another terminal, and currently we don't have anything on that terminal inside here, and so I think that's why it wasn't working when I tried to test it out last time. So what I got here is the wire that plugs into that terminal, and I added a length of copper wire onto that. So let's try to test this thing out again. I'm going to try to plug this wire in. It looks like I'm going to have to loosen this up a little bit, which is what I figured. Give me some room to get my fat hands in there. Well, I thought I had it. Son of a monkey's uncle. Why isn't that going on? It's because as soon as I get my fat fingers in the hole, can't see nothing. So I got the ground hooked up, so let's just, for S's and G's, let's just bump that to power for just a minute. Oh yeah. It's hitting the edge of the window, which I thought might be a concern. So it goes all the way up there, huh? So let's put it back how it's supposed to go. That was simple enough. Now let's start from that extreme position over there. Let's see what we got. Hopefully we can make this work. This wants to go that way and kind of violently slam in place. Taking out the lights. So how do you adjust the stops on this thing? Tired tripping over that. This thing's incredibly torquey. So I think what the key is going to be alright. So over there it's at the full that away position. I still get this off by hand. Oh, no, I cannot. $13mm, first try. Okay, so now the motor's as far as it can go that way. So if we put this on in a way where it's as far as we want it to go this way. Oh, the end of our blade popped out down there. It was getting a little roughed up. Let's bring this over. Set it where we want it. at full swing. That way. Ooh, not ski. So this is where my degree in mechanical engineering really comes in handy. So anyways, let's put power to that and see, watch it break something. Yeah, so now it goes way too high that way. Let's let it come back down. It still goes too far that way. And then it gets stuck. Yeah, so we're gonna definitely have to fine tune on this a little bit. Now I guess what we could do is look at this other one. Have a gander at it. I wonder if there are any user serviceable parts inside. Like, for example, set screws to reduce how much swing we have. So let's take this back cover off and see what it looks like inside there. Yeah, I'm not going to get too carried away tearing this, because it doesn't look like there's anything really that we can do to change anything. That's how windshield wiper motor works. This guy spins, the guy twirls that around, this lever does things. The way this is made looks like to get a different swing out of it, you would basically have to have a completely different unit. Might have to just install an old manual twist knob one. DIY it, you know. Says, "Hi Mom, it's just a piece of masking tape I put on there so we can kind of observe how it works." So pretty much during this whole segment, I'm cutting up some pieces of linear rail, which proved to be really hard to actually cut through. And what I'm doing is struggling to try to find a way to make that windshield wiper motor actually work for this little window on the tractor pad. So here I'm blasting through a piece of that stuff, trying to cut it down to the right size to fit above the windshield. As you can see, it takes a long time to cut through. That rail is basically just like a piece of tool steel bolted onto a piece of aluminum. The tool steel stuff is what we're cutting now, and it is really difficult to cut, even for this industrial abrasive saw. Kind of a brutal process, but it works. With the cost of that saw, which I paid $10 for at an auction, 4 proper replacement blades for it, and 1 blade that's the wrong size that I could technically return and get my money back. So we're at 10 for that blade, 20 for the replacements. That's 30. I got 40 bucks in this setup. So, alright, so that goes on there roughly like that. Now where's that other C clamp? Probably should get another clamp on this before it falls and breaks something. And obviously before I mount this thing permanently, I'll level it out and all that fun stuff. But for now we just want to clamp it up there. I'm trying to get an idea of what, if anything, we can do with this thing. But this is my plan, guys, okay? And bear with me, because sometimes my stuff gets wild. But this is my basic plan. Fit the wiper blade to, like, say if we're gonna start the travel out on this side, fit the wiper blade here. These holes are like 1/4 20 threaded, I think, or something like that. We'll have to figure out what kind of bolts fit in there. Might end up needing to go like to the bottom hole or the top hole for different leverages or something. I don't know. Windshield wiper, windshield wiper, windshield wiper, windshield wiper. I just don't know how I'm going to be able to tie these two together in a way that doesn't look like something a crazy person dreamt up and actually work, you know. So we'll have to see about that. One is twofold with the belt drive system. I'll show you right now what I mean. So let's turn it on. So I'm getting it to move left to right, but it's only going about 1 inch. And if you notice, it's slipping half the time anyway. The slightest amount of resistance and the belt slips. So although this motor has a ton of torque behind it, we're losing a lot of that torque to the belt drive system, and we're only getting 1 inch, literally like 1 inch of travel. So that was a complete failure. It's probably to your right, you can see a Amazon bag. And that's the well, I have yet to open it, but if it is what it says it is, it's the snaps for this project, which we already have snaps, but they weren't snapping, which reminds me, where's those other snaps? Oh, we need this big heavy SOB again. At least I hope we do. My one follower, thumbs up on that. This one's for you, buddy. So anyways, what we're doing is we're back down in the basement, and where we left off on this yesterday, that was yesterday, wasn't it? Yep. We had put the back part of this snap fastener system on the tractor tab, but we couldn't get the snaps to snap onto this fabric because I didn't have the right tools to do so. And so just to kind of fill you in, this thing, it's the back part of a snap. It's got a screw on it. Screwed a bunch of those around the left side window opening on the tractor. Now we got to get some snaps on this part so we can snap it on there. And hopefully, I thought this was going to be easy, and this is my second attempt. But like I said, I don't think I had the right stuff the first time. So this is yet another set of snap. But basically what I want to do here is see if the head of the snap is the same diameter as the previous kit we got, and if that checks out and they are the same diameter, then we should be okay to use these tools on these original snaps. And the only reason I want to do that is I like the color of these a little better. But one thing I also want to check, now the second set, which is the set with this copper colored backing, if you notice one thing, the diameter of that stem, or whatever you call it, is larger than these. So I'll definitely try to stick with these just so I don't have to enlarge my holes. But it almost looks like, yeah, those two would actually fit together. So we're going to try these again. Now, if they don't work, another reason that it's good that the diameters are the same is we should be able to snap, in the event I can't get these to hold, we should be able to use these and snap these onto the tractor without having to redo all those things. And you know, there's 16 of these I screwed in there, and you're probably thinking, well, it's just 16 screws, what's the big deal? Some of those were just like, I don't want to say the hardest screws I've ever messed with, that would be an exaggeration, but some of them were extremely difficult. Now this little kit has the tools that you use for these snaps that it came with, obviously. And now this set kit, or this punch looking thing, is different than the one I was using yesterday. The one I was trying to use yesterday is out of this snap kit, and you can see how much smaller these snaps are. So of course the tools are going to be smaller. And it didn't have this little nipple on the end of it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but this one has kind of like a little protrusion on the end. I think that's what we're going to need to make this work. Now this I'm not sure about. You know, of course I can I mean, I guess they do have the instructions printed right on the lid. Let's see. Number 5 is a screwdriver. Number 4, what's that guy doing there? He has unusually long fingernails. I suppose that could be a woman. Oh, I see. It's a mallet. They don't really show you the... In image 1, you can barely make out that he's using a mallet. Or she, I'm sorry. In image 2, if that is indeed image 2, no, in image 4, it looks like that thing is on the end of a screwdriver or something. That's why I was a little confused. But what he doesn't show you is which side of this freaking thing to use. So I guess we're going to use the smooth side. It wouldn't really make sense to use the side there because then it's going to mess the thing up. So we're just going to give that a whirl. Let's just do it. Let's just try it. Now I definitely seem to get a lot more smush out of that than I was before. Let's pop that off. With any luck, this thing's actually in place now. Oh yeah, it's on there real good. So that's what we ended up with. Alright, so I'm going through and setting all the snaps around the perimeter of the flexible window panel, and it's going much, much better this time because I have the right tools. Funny how that works. But once I get through with this, I'll go out and test it, see if it fits onto the tractor. Hopefully that turns out good. Now I still have to fix one of my sewing machines and finish sewing and modifying the panel I made for the door side because it's like an inch too short on bottom, and so I didn't measure it very well apparently. But so I have to fix that and then do this whole process to that panel yet as well. So we got all those done. Should have 16 snaps on here unless I missed somebody. No, we're golden. So now this thing should, in theory, actually snap onto the tractor cab. And that's what it looks like on the finished side. So with any luck, we're going to snap this window into place. And now this is a raw fit. I didn't come out here and try to fit it into place prior. So we're just going to go around and try to snap these on, see how it goes. That one felt pretty good. That one's on there. Just went. Little gap there I wasn't expecting. Hopefully that doesn't hurt us down the road. Little stretch there, but that's what I want. I was hoping these were a little tighter from snap to snap. You can see they're snapped on there real good though. And that's what we're after. There we go. Yeah, we're getting a little stretch, and that's, like I said, that's what we want to see. That one not so much. It's weird, this one and that one ended up a little gap. I must not have pulled it tight there when I was screwing it down. If you remember, we marked the location of where the snaps go and where the back part goes on the tractor by running some self-tapping screws in there. Now it did get me real close, but there are some gaps. Alright, so I would bring you in for a closer look, but I got you plugged into the wall. Last time I tried to do that, didn't turn out so hot. Yeah, it is snapped on, and I don't foresee that going anywhere at the 2 mile an hour or whatever I'm going to be going to snow blow the driveway. So mission accomplished there. Something actually turned out halfway decent on this. Yeah, anyways, that's what this is. I was hoping they would send me one of these stickers for the old toolbox or something. Doesn't look like that's the case. That's okay. Maybe there's one inside there, but I doubt it. That'd be stupid. One thing I do like to see made here in the States, so that makes me proud. But it says on here you can use it for water, automotive, and industrial fluids, deer corn, Milo and Oats. That's like Milo and Oats, I'm pretty sure, is a classic rock band. JK. But anyways, you can put birdseed, rock salt, oil, and liquid absorbents in it. You can even put herbicide, insecticide, animal attractants. So you can basically do whatever you want in this thing other than drinking water and bodily fluids. So that's good. I got this, and we'll use this to fill it up with oil. And then, assuming it is leak proof, which it looks like it should be fine, then I can just throw it in the back of the work van. But anyways, I'll show you the less damaged side of this Mighty Vac, and it tells you different things. But it holds 2.3 gallons of juice, and basically what it is, they have a couple different models of this guy, and actually probably quite a few. But I know you can get them in different capacities, you know, as far as how much oil or fluid they will hold. And you can get one that runs off of your compressed air, or one like this that's just a hand pump. Anyways, I'm getting tired of holding this, but what you do is you use it to, it comes with these little tubes, and you stick them down the dipstick hole into the oil pan, and until you hit bottom, and then you just hit the pump on there. There's a little flip valve. You flip one way to extract, you flip it the other to dispense, and then you just run that pump up and down a few times, and then through the power of like siphoning and gravity and science, what happens is a lot of times you only have to pump it just every so often, and it'll just draw most of it out. But it does a really good job if you are careful with how you place the tube down the dipstick hole. You can fairly well get every drop of old oil out of there, and I think that's going to be the ticket to changing the oil in this thing, just because I don't think you can get to, the way I have the engine in there, I don't think you can get to the drain plug. So there's that. But maybe what we'll do is open this. Now you can see that Amazon or whoever actually dropped this off basically looks like they smushed it with a forklift before it got here. So hopefully it's in one piece. And, looks like it made it okay. Yeah, this looks identical to the one I had before, so that's good. Now, what I'm going to try to do this time is not lose all the hoses. You get these tubes, you jam them down the oil dipstick hole, pump on this pump handle thing over here, and it sucks your oil into that jug there, this big one. Now, what does the big one do? Oh, I think I remember now. The big one interfaces with the unit first. Now, note that I'm not pulling out any instructionals here. Still says it's up to the full notch. Now that oil doesn't look bad at all, and pretty much the only reason I'm pulling this out is because A, I can't remember how long this tractor's actually been sitting, and B, we need to drain it to do a couple things to it. So, but if I had to guess, there's probably very few hours on that oil, maybe like 1.5 to 2 hours altogether. Now right away I see this isn't going to work, which sucks, because we're hitting something there. If we give it the old heave-ho, yeah, sometimes you got to really work it into place, you know. You basically want to push that in until you can't anymore. And this feels like it's really going in there. There it goes. So basically you want to hit the bottom of the pan and just pull up just a, oh, here we go. I smell oil. Yeah, you know, the old girl, it's not going to hurt her to give her some oil. I'm going to have to look online and see what kind of oil to give this beast. Can't remember. I seem to recall it was nothing very exotic. It was just regular engine oil of some sort. Yeah, this is one of those things where as long as you use some sense with this Mighty Vac, you can usually do a pretty clean oil change and pretty much not leak anything. But one thing you have to watch is once you pull the hoses out, you still want to put a few pumps through it, try to drain everything out of the hoses. Anyways, I won't suffer you guys through me standing here pumping this thing like an idiot for 20 minutes or whatever. So what's that say? I can't see that. What the heck does that say? 10? Yeah, we might just about have it here at Brewdog. So that says, I still can't see what that says. 8 liters. 6 liters is down here. What's that one say? Should I imagine it says 4. And 2 liters is probably right there. So that's about what this tractor runs on, is about 2 liters of oil. You want to let that gurglate for a while, because even though it's gurgulating, it still is pulling, you know what I mean? Mighty backs are okay, you know, especially if you're a weekend warrior and you want to start changing and your own oil cutter. So the key with this is to keep the hose that you pulled out of the engine elevated. Hoses don't pop out, you won't really get any leakage out in the garage because of gravitational sciences. I'm just going to leave the dipstick loose and on top, and that's an easy reminder to myself, hey, this thing doesn't have any oil in it. That's the dipstick laying on the engine, obviously, and a little fluff of paper towel. Alright, boys and girls, I promised you some puppy appearances at some point, and here they are. Somebody pop up and say hello. Hi, Frosty. Hi, buddy. I got to thinking, as dangerous as that can be, it's like, why am I monkeying around gluing these panels? At least for some of them, why don't I just insulate the area I'm trying to freaking insulate, and then from there just put the fabric on with screws. Are you feeling me? Do you follow me? Can you hear me? Yeah. But from here, I'm just going to cut a piece of canvas that will cover this whole area, go around it with some self-tapping screws, and call it a day. It's done. You know, this isn't a Cadillac. Basically what I'm thinking is fold this over on the edges a little bit, being mindful that we don't want to waste a lot of the material. Just get ourselves some folds going down both edges. And then kind of just size it up how we need and start blasting screws in it and stretching it. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and screw this first corner down, okay? And that'll kind of be a starting point. And then from there, we'll do something else. But I found this pack of screws from Hillman. It says number 8 by 1/2 inch. It's a self-tapping screw with a big kind of like washer head looking job on it, and I think that'll work good to hold them in place and not look too horrible. So we'll start off with that, and I don't think that's going to look bad at all. I think this could potentially speed things along quite a bit. I'm going to set this can of Gorilla Spray Glue right over here so I remember to use it. And you know, I can always revise on this 10 years from now if I decide to rebuild it like we're doing right now. Maybe I'll have a 2034 tractor revival episode. Yeah, I'm actually like bleeding on the canvas. I need to chill with that. Need to get this one corner started at the bottom how I want it, and the rest should kind of trickle into place. In fact, let's get crazy. Let's not measure any of the rest of them, and we'll just guesstimate around 6-inch spacing. I think we're just going to have to send that. I don't think that's going to be as good as it gets. That's definitely how I'm going to leave the door. The door is done. It is insulated. All I have to do to finish this door is finish that darn window panel. We're going to put a couple more screws in here and there, like as the material settles and sags, but for the time being, that is done and we can move on. I've probably honestly got hundreds of hours in this project between thinking about it and actually doing it, and definitely hundreds of hours that I put off doing stuff to it. And I'm also going to incorporate some of this backing rod into the edges that go around the doorway, kind of just loop the canvas around that, and what that's going to do is make kind of like a little bit of a draft stop / air seal, some deal like that. They say Jesus was a carpenter. Well, I ain't Jesus. What is happening, man? This is hard, I'll be honest, because you're working in this real tight, confined space. And then with any luck, we should be able to compensate for some wrinkles with this fold here. Pinch it up and over, like so. You know, so I'm going to hit this panel with a little Gorilla Glue ski to find where I left it sitting. there. Let's see if action sprays today. Nice. What that'll do is help the things stay put a little bit. Let's try to keep it off the side of the fabric that's going to be exposed. There. Right there. Yeah, basically we're just going to keep rolling that around, making sure we have enough fabric to get front and back, and also kind of pulling the slack in the panel towards the front as we go. And that's really all that we can do. Put another one right above my thumb there. And so we'll just continue that all the way down. And then, like I said, when that door is pulled closed, it'll bump this. Yeah, that was my idea for this. I won't suffer you guys through watching me have to do this whole thing, but I figured this part was kind of interesting idea I had. Well, great. Let's poke a giant hole in it, why don't you? So we're getting into that season where it could snow at any time. What I don't want, and where I've been before with this project, is like, well, I got a snowblower, but it's in the garage, 150 pieces, no oil in it. And anyways, guys, that was a little Some of these I've reused, and they're being just a little stubborn today. So. What the? So we got that one, and that felt like the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm gonna go ahead and goggle up, guys. We're getting dangerous with these darn screws, apparently. These, you know what I need to do is order some more safety glasses. I had to give my dogs a bath. Is one of the things, and. Once I'm done with the dog bathing situation, I'm going to make some tacos, or maybe vice versa. Might eat dinner first and then make tacos. Might eat dinner first and then bathe the dogs. You can see that that's pretty much going to work as I planned, because it's hanging out ever so slightly in the door opening. Once that other door swings closed, it should contact that. At very least, that'll block the air from coming through. Bright as this light is, it's pretty much next to impossible to get it anywhere where you need it. Just put that over there. Okay, so here you can see, if you look closely in the opening for the doorway, that material is now dark brown, just like the material I'm hanging now. And the reason that is because previously in the video, my drill slipped off while I was trying to screw the white or light colored panel down and poked a bunch of holes in it. And also, I was running low on the light color and would have had to make the panel I'm working on now dark brown anyway, so I switched the other one to dark brown. And I also doubled up the amount of that backing rod foam in the little part that hangs over, in hopes for a little better seal to that door when it closes. And so here I'm just trimming and screwing and applying that canvas to the other side of the cab. And you'll also note that the seat is out during this portion. So it just seemed easier, and I need to do some things to that seat anyway. All right, people, so brief update. Seat is out. Made it easier to get in here and put these insulation panels and screw this canvas on top of it. You know, a couple wrinkles here and there. I did the best I could. It's a pain working inside of here because it's kind of a cramped space, but still got a little bit yet to go on that. I want to do this lower area here, but I got the three or four pieces in. I don't know how many pieces I did, but I just wanted to give you an update on that. Got the seat over here, and it's flipped over on a moving blanket, and I got to make something for the front. You can see my homemade bracket on the back side there that's toward the top, and then I got to make something for the front yet. So shove the tape back a little. There, that should be plenty. And now here, let me show you a little something here. You know, sometimes you want to go for the good looking one, right? This one looks nice. This one's the same thing, but it looks like trash. Looks like a dog digested it. But this one works better than this one, believe it or not. And then from here, we do a pivot like that to that. And so that's pretty much our piece, and if we can cut it out nicely, we're gonna not use so much, we're not gonna burn up so much of this material. For some reason it looks like it ramps up a little bit right there. Might have to trim on it. In the previous video I had mentioned, or one of the previous videos, I had mentioned that I was trying to get this hydraulic motor thing to turn this chute, and it occurred to me that I've tried different setups and variations of that a few different times, at least at a minimum, and none of it worked. So I'm like, you know what? I'm laying there thinking about it, and I'm like, why keep beating the same old dead horse? Why not just try something completely different? And so I'm gonna kind of get going on that right now. Basically what we're gonna do is take the hydraulic motor off. We're gonna take the control valve out. So I basically wasted half my weekend monkeying around with the windshield wiper on this thing. So how do we do that? We want to take it apart there. I think we'll have to take it apart here first. So that'll hold that. And maybe, if we're lucky, this 3/4 will go on there. It does not, so we're already going to need some bigger wrenches. Alright, let's see about getting that guy loose off of there. Well, that came apart pretty quickly and easily. Right, we're not even losing much juice. Great. Great, great, great. Maybe if we flip this around up, we won't lose much at all. Put you over there for right now. Get this off of here. It says it spends 5,000 RPM at 6 psi or 6 gallons per minute or something. I don't know. I got the specs on it somewhere. Oh, don't do that. Hydraulic oil looks nice and clean though. That's good. No surprises there. So I took this little motor thing completely out of the equation, okay? This is that little hydraulic motor I showed you previously, and I told you I was trying to get it to rotate that chute, and I had tried a dozen different things and it didn't work, and blah, blah, blah. Well, we're not going to try 13 things, okay? We're going to leave it at a dozen. This can go into my spare parts bin after I rob some fittings I may or may not need off of it. And we're going to try something else. That is this bad boy. And now this is a Wolverine by Prince Manufacturing, and it is a hydraulic cylinder. It kind of looks like a shock absorber or something. But what this is a hydraulic cylinder, and it's got two round, like rotating balls on each end that said that those can compensate for minor misalignment, which we're probably most certainly going to have on this project. So, but anyways, what this one is a it's got a 10-inch stroke on it. And so basically, if you haven't figured it out already, what I'm planning on doing with this is adapting this to the snowblower to rotate that chute left and right somehow. And I think it's going to require me making a custom arm or bracket. These are going to mount into the grill. I want to have just this thing poking out of the grill, and then have another hose pick up here that'll go to either or of those ports there. And so that way, if I want to take the snowblower off the tractor, I just pop these out and these hoses stay with the cylinder, and then it'll just look like that. And somewhere I even have some nice dust caps that go on the end of these. So let's lay down here. I'll use this thing here as a pillow. Now, I don't know what kind of vantage point you guys really have, but this is the wire we're going to have to cut. I guess if I was smart, I would have brought the wiring stuff down. And basically how it's wired is this just goes over to that, ties in there. We'll leave that factory plug alone. And then this goes up to the other end. Sausage patties, 3 eggs, scrambled with sauteed vegetables and cheese, a couple slices of toast. Anyways, how this is set up is when you touch the probes together, it beeps. Nice. So that looks like it is the wiring for the taillights, as I expected. If we stretch over here, we'll make sure it's connected to the other side real quick. Hopefully there's no big spiders in here. Yeah. So that's how we're going to power our taillights. That's awesome. That'll make easy work of it. And then we'll just ground them to the body. And that'll make easy work of the grounds. So I guess the next step is to find those taillights. So we got these parts AM or part SAM, however you want to say that. It says quantity 1 pieces over there, but over here it says 2 pieces, stop, brake, turn, ruck, tractor, Jeep, RV. We loosely qualify as a tractor, so these should work for us. Yeah, that's what those look like there. But now on this, we're going to have to test these out to see how they're wired, because I don't see any instructions. I'm going to assume that red and black will make it stay on constant, and then maybe white is for a turn signal, so we'll probably not use that. But we'll have to see. Is black positive? And white negative? Oh boy. Ay, ay, ay. Are there any instructionals on this thing? Like even on the... Give you absolutely no instructionals. I can't get this to light up. Let's try this one. Okay, so that's all that it was they got the black is positive and the white is ground. And so I got to crimp on a small crimp fitting on the whites, which I should probably do after they're mounted, so it's not hard to pass through the hole, although it doesn't matter because there's nice big holes. So we'll go ahead and crimp one on now. clippers. Yeah, so far these little Pittsburgh clippers have been excellent. I've said this 6 times already, but hoping to get episode 3 up and running later tonight. Alright, so now we got holes for inside and outside temp sensors. And what that means, folks, is I can't think of another reason why I'm going to need to leave this panel down any further. And I'm so freaking sick of seeing it hanging and all these wires that are supposed to be hidden. So what we're going to do is start buttoning this bad boy up. I'll bring you guys over here so you can kind of get a better peek at what I've been doing. Fuse panel, couple labels. This is going to be an extra circuit with no fuse in it currently, so if I want to add on something else I can. Then obviously I have the ability to utilize these other fuse locations for other things in the future. But put a zip tie up there. That's the wiring I taped and tucked back there. This is how all of the gauges are wired. And then this nest of stuff here is going to go, once I raise the panel up, this is going to go 1, 2, 3 there, and that'll supply unfused power to these sides. And then the power will travel through the fuses into the things that we want to supply fused power to. Frozen up, see if we got lights. Headlights still work. Both are still working, that's good. Wiper motor, I can hear it. PTO, heard it click. Let's turn on power to our gauges, fingers crossed. Hey, look at that, it works. We're at 12.4 volts. The temperature gauge is upside down. And I can't remember if red is inside and blue is outside. You know, I don't know. But it is cool that they both work. And I guess it'll be pretty evident which is which once it's actually cold outside. So I had to progress without you. But I put my PEMP level 5000 steering wheel cover on. Top got a little funky toward the end. I didn't tie it off at the end right because I barely read the instructions. But what I'm going to do there is just get a little needle and black nylon thread and just sew it a little bit. Something just like slid or fell a little bit and it scared the crap out of me. But another thing I did, if we hit the lights button up here, of course we still have the lights in the front. I showed you those before. But now, peep it out, we got lights in the rear. And I've got those all wired up. The power wires are using the factory wiring. And then if you look down in there, you can maybe kind of probably not see, but I tied the wires up and they're all shrink wrapped and soldered real nice with those solder shrink wrap fittings. And then I spray painted the ground post on each side, or the screw that I used as a ground post. I spray painted it black because I had sanded the paper or the paint away underneath there. So I spray painted that black to just kind of protect that from corrosion a little bit. Yeah, the tail lights turned out real nice. I like them, happy with them. Never going to change them again, hopefully. Took way too long on those. I probably spent an honest 2 hours monkeying with those tail lights. But anyways, again, I appreciate you watching, and feel free to like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up. And we'll come at you before as soon as I possibly humanly can.